Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't has no chill. I'm who I are. I'm who
Welcome back
I is.
to another episode of The Dating Game. I'm Sean.
And I'm King.
And today we're coming at you with some more content to review. Before I do any way further, we're just going to jump on into it.
All right.
No introductions this time.
Boom.
All right.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Luz Ortiz and Carlos Ortiz and Ms. LaShonda Beckett. Mr. and Mrs. Ortiz, you came here about a year ago, got a divorce. The divorce is final. I gave Mrs. Ortiz a judgment in the amount of $11,000. I'm going to ask about how much of that was paid. Mr. Ortiz, you're here with Ms. Beckett because you used to be the babysitter of the Ortiz grandbaby.
Yes.
But now you are the mother of Mr. Ortiz's most recent child.
Yes, I am.
And before we get started,
No boundaries.
I want to take a look at what happened last time, and then we're going to find out why we're here this time.
Okay.
Look at her. I want you to see what you did to your wife. I want you to see what you did to the woman that you said you were going to love, honor, and cherish. What she did was take your son's daughter into her life and cared for him. And what you did is take your vows, throw them out your window, and skittled off with a kindergartner.
All right. Early pictures, he is definitely the bad guy.
Yeah, seems that way.
I was warm because you didn't seem to be at all regretful.
Well, Your Honor, I have been regretful. I have been remoiced about it, but I cannot turn back
Remoiced?
the time.
Not a
And
word.
at that moment, time had to continue forward, and I have to continue with my life just like Luz has to continue with her life.
Okay, very good point. Very good point. I'm going to say you're back here today, Ms. Ortiz, because you want some money. And Mr. Ortiz, you have a request of me as well.
That's correct,
Which is
Your
a
Honor.
very important request, and I want to take it seriously. We won't talk about it now. I'll talk about all of that at the end, but it has to do with the child. She has custody of your grandchild, correct?
That's correct. That I supported
But
for
you
her to
didn't
have.
fight that. You wanted her to have custody
That's
of
correct.
your grandchild.
That's
okay.
correct.
Ms. Ortiz, why don't you tell me what's going on now?
Well, first of all, I want to remind him that, in fact, he did not pay the ruling.
How much did he pay, if any at all? Because I awarded you
Nothing.
$11,000.
Well,
except-
Hang on, I awarded $11,000. How much do you say he has paid?
He only paid $1,000 of it, and I had to take back the vehicle.
Mr.
That
Ortiz?
was the agreement. That was agreed upon among us that either she gets $11,000, I'll keep the car, or she keeps the car and keeps paying for the note.
Okay. So you decided to give her the car.
That's correct.
Did you make
No,
that
he
agreement
decided-
afterwards?
He decided to give me back the car only because they were moving away to Puerto Rico.
Well,
And that
it's-
car
But
was
did
gonna
you
be left
agree
behind.
that that would be in lieu of paying the judgment? Did you agree?
I would
See
take
that,
that
Ms.
car.
Ortiz?
See that?
Okay.
And I agree with that.
You
I
can't get
agree
all
with
of
that
it, can't
100%.
You
I
can't
messed
get
up.
weak and just do whatever and then come back here and ask me to undo the whatever that you just did.
Yeah.
What has happened as far as your family is concerned since you left here?
Carlos, I told him he should start and try and get a new lease on life. So they moved out to Puerto Rico.
Well, before we did all that, Your Honor, just
Mr.
a
Ortiz,
second.
I'm going to get to you. Let me finish with her,
but
and then I'm
if
going to
she-
turn to you and allow you to address everything.
Please, let's not, Your Honor.
Mr. Ortiz.
Shut up,
I can
Mr.
handle
Ortiz.
this. You will get a full opportunity to be heard. We're going to finish her, and then I'll get to you. Go ahead.
While he was in Puerto Rico, as a matter of fact, his family were calling me. They called me several times to say, if you ever
Yeah, we would
leave
keep his mouth shut.
Miss Beckett, please, would you please take him back? And I said to them, no way. He's gone
His
out of my
family
life.
was calling you to have you
Yes.
take him back?
No, Yes.
That's absurd.
Mr. Ortiz, why don't you respond to that? Because that doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either. I mean, if I would ever have a fallout with LaShonda and when we're not together no more, my mistake was already made with her. I don't need to go back there.
Why would you now contend that she's not a good caregiver when you didn't even want to take care of your own flesh and blood? You say Mrs. Ortiz won't let you see your granddaughter.
That is such a lie.
Explain that to me.
Well, the situation is this. It's not just
They
not
got you
wanting to
looking
see
up.
her. It's wanting to see her, us as a family.
Spend
Me
time.
as a grandfather.
I always
with
have a
my-
Hang on,
time.
just Miss Ortiz, please. Go
Spend
ahead.
time alone without Luce being there.
Yeah.
But Luz won't allow that.
The four of us.
She has to be there.
I have her best interest in heart.
The four of you.
Oh,
you have a baby, and so you
Shut
want to
up
be
with
able to
that.
have the grandchild.
Just for a couple of hours.
It's not an overnight. We don't even request overnight. We request several hours walking through the mall,
Go to the
going on a
park.
carousel, get on rides or something like this, and bring her back safely, of course, and secure it back to Luz.
Is that true? Do they ask for it just to take?
No, they've only asked once, and I told them straight
We
out.
asked a couple of
I
times.
I'll get to you.
have my granddaughter's best interest at heart. When
Shut
I
up.
was given custody of my granddaughter, I've always had her best interest at heart.
Well, what best
He was
interest-
not in her life.
Mr. Ortiz, I will
He
get
was
to
not
you.
in her life, hardly
He was
ever.
always in her
Because
life.
He was always on the road.
Hey,
Well, Your
you're
Honor,
trying.
we have to-
No. You're in here trying to convince me to get her to let you see a child because you're reasonable people. You
right.
can't even be quiet when I ask you to.
He's got to react.
That does not
Strong
support
point.
your position.
Okay.
Okay? I will get to you.
Okay.
He did see his granddaughter even before he went to Puerto Rico. Always with me around, of course, but he did see her.
drove
His
us to-
complaint seems to be that you won't allow him to see the grandbaby without you being physically present.
No, because the judge gave me guardianship and
Right.
custody of her because I've always had her best interest at heart. And I will not allow it at this time.
What are
Maybe
your
once.
concerns?
I think that because of the way everything went down, there was so much drama in her life that her being alone with them, I don't feel is the best interest for her.
Was she trusting me?
Respond to that.
It's not a good
One
excuse.
time, for instance, we
That-
went
It's not a good
to
reason.
see,
No.
my
You can't-
granddaughter.
no.
It was my idea to say, let's pay a
Yeah,
visit.
they
Listen,
always come
you two are
unannounced.
terrible over there. You can't even let your man finish a sentence. Let him speak.
We had a situation, okay, I'm not gonna call it as critical, but we went to see the grandchild, my grandchild, just out of the blues to see how she was doing. It was after school. And when we got there,
Not smart.
the grandchild was not there. Our grandchild was not there, and
She was with her friend.
she was visiting
Stop.
a neighbor, according to Luz. Now, these people can actually hold my grandchild, and they don't have no interest whatsoever in terms of being relatives. And here we are, I'm a relative, and I like to have a couple of hours without Luz being there.
That's interesting, Mr. Ortiz. You are a relative. This is your son's child, correct?
That's correct.
You didn't even want custody. You didn't even want the kid to come live with you when you two were married because you didn't want to be bothered. This woman
but
is not. If you interrupt me one more time, I'm going to send you right out of the back of this courtroom.
Good.
You didn't even want to have the kid. You were going to let the child go into foster care before you would take it into your home. Why would you now contend that she's not a good caregiver when you didn't
I
even
don't
want to
think he
take
said
care of
that.
your own flesh and blood?
He,
Well, I
He
didn't
just said he's
say
like that see the
she's
kids.
not a good caregiver.
Yeah.
What I am trying to say is at that moment, it was my son's responsible for that child. Now I took it to the
They were
limit
never- Stop.
limit so that we won't be held responsible for the child. Now, of course, we're not going to let a child go ahead and get lost in the system because that's a lot of children
But
get
you
lost.
were.
No,
She
I
was
took
headed
it to
in
the
to
limit.
foster care.
I didn't let it happen. As you can see, I
You didn't let it
supported
happen. He was
Luz
on the road
too.
when I went to pick her
You
up.
don't,
accept and
Mr.
adopt
Ortiz,
the child.
you don't recall what you told me in this courtroom.
Uh-oh.
You told me you didn't want the baby. You told me that's why you gave custody of that baby to your ex-wife, and she's not even blood related. Now, Ms. Beckett, you have been wanting to say something this whole time. We're going to make everybody else be quiet and let you speak. Why do you think she won't let you two have the baby alone?
Your Honor, I think it's really because of me. I feel that Luz is
I feel.
racist.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now,
how to-
that's...
Excuse
now,
me?
Hang on.
That's a lie.
That's a lightning charge.
Because-
Why do you believe that?
Because she always makes statements that she made this one statement that my baby brother go to a school and it's all mixed kids, and that's a very good school, but it's in the hood, the
Right.
ghetto. So she made a statement and said, well, I don't want nobody chasing after me because they believe that I'm gonna buy drugs, and
and that was happening.
Stop.
I believe that they're gonna chase after me because I'm
Gee,
white.
man.
So she
Oh.
believed that
Legitimate concern,
the
though.
black people is going to chase after her because they think that she's white and she's coming to buy drugs.
Do you think she's racist?
I believe that the racial card is not as strong, but I think that the influences of other family members towards Luz, we're looking at what family members are telling Luz. Don't let the baby go
with the babysitter.
With the babysitter or with his wife.
Hang on. Let me say this, Ms. Beckett. And I got to say this, you know, what you did was scandalous.
Yeah, but hang on.
Has still happened.
And I want you to
Still
remember
happened.
what happened about your involvement.
We got a clip.
You didn't feel at all badly about sleeping with another woman's husband.
Well, Your Honor, they was having problems before I even moved into the house. They was having problems. If it wasn't going to be me, it would have been someone else.
Don't you love that excuse? If it wasn't going to be me, I mean, it was going to be somebody else. I might as well have done it.
I'm sure I've told you that. I'm going to tell you again. Every marriage has struggles. And you're not supposed to sleep with other people's husbands. It's just bad business. It's just wrong. And don't you see that having done that Ms. Ortiz has some negative feelings towards you?
She got some bad blood towards you now.
Don't you understand, accept, and appreciate that?
Yeah, but that was the past.
While that's true,
let her respond, and then
Luis is still using that kid
Your Honor, but that,
as a pawn.
As a pawn.
We're looking at the future now.
And so her saying that last sentence makes sense. It's like, yeah, that's past. We're looking at the future. Luz using that kid as a pawn is wrong in all shapes, fashions, or forms. It does nothing for that kid.
Right.
Matter of fact, it harms the kid more than anything.
Exactly.
Yes, the cheating and stuff. Okay, yeah, but you can get past that.
Right.
And I understand what they're claiming. They're claiming, look, that happened in the past. Why are you now continuing to make me pay for it?
Yeah, plus the kid's not, depending on how young the kid is, the kid's not even going to know or understand the relationship of cheating that happened there. So it's not even it's a moot point, basically.
What do you do to make up for what you did at all in her direction? Have you written her a letter? Have you said I'm sorry? Have you made anything easier for her?
All they came back for is ask for favors left and right.
What kind of favors?
The favors. For instance, can you please pick us up and take us to
Your Honor, that's one of the ways that
to my father's house because we're going to be staying there about 14 days. 3 days after that, they called me from another location asking for me to pick them up and bring them back to Miss Beckett's sister's house.
What is your version of those events?
Your Honor, this is what's going on. Yes, we've asked her to take us places because we didn't have a car when we first got to Florida. But we still have a friendship. We still have a main body in this ordeal that's in between us. How do I get to see my grandchild if I don't ask her, come on over here and meet us at this place?
Ms. Ortiz, let me ask you something. He's saying something interesting. As tacky and trifling as they were, it seems to me that, and much to your credit, you have forgiven them and maintained a relationship with the two of them. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, that's how racist I am, that I still maintain a relationship with them, you know? And that's because of my granddaughter.
What happened 2.5 years ago, we over it. We have to continue
You're
a
over
friendship.
It. The question is she over it? Because nobody hurt you.
Okay, well,
you
we
weren't
want to
hurt.
work, Your Honor, we want to work with her to get over it.
What?
We want to work with her for her to get over it.
I get English might be his second language because every time he talks, he digs a deeper hole in my opinion.
I don't think English is the problem. I just think he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't blame you on an emotional level because you're hurt. Be that as it may, I don't see anything that makes me believe that they have a bad environment, and I don't see any reason why.
They didn't even have a place to stay.
I am speaking. Any reason why they wouldn't be permitted to take the baby to the park or anything like that. And I want you to put that baby's interest before your hurt.
Yes. Yes.
You want to sue him for $60. I just think that's silly. But
60?
It's silly. It's silly. But and I wouldn't do it except that he agreed that he would. He called me frantically one day while I was picking up my granddaughter from school, and he said, "I'm short $60. I need to get the insurance deposit in so I can get the vehicle out of."
Is there a way you can pause without? Oh man. All right. Look, first of all, ladies, take account of a guy like this dude, just straight up. He's with somebody else, and he has called his ex-wife
that he cheated on
2.5 years ago
with
the babysitter who's standing right beside him, and asking his ex-wife, not brother, sister, or any other family member,
his ex-wife
for $60. And look how the girlfriend that cheated is right there beside him.
Just look at it.
She's still with this fool.
Still with him.
Ask yourself,
well,
why would you even consider?
Ain't gonna work. This is audio.
Okay. But can they?
Yeah, that should work.
Hey, city boys are up. Look, if that's the type of person that you want in your life, hey, that's what he looks like right there. He's with you while asking his ex-wife for $60. Have at him, ladies. They're out there. A lot of bummy dudes like that, ready to use and abuse you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, man.
I mean, them love it. They love it. Eat it up.
What's the reason? Because, I mean, I don't know what she doesn't, I mean, let me say this. It doesn't seem like her light bulb is all the way illuminated.
Right.
First of all, let me just kind of say that.
Yeah.
But she's attractive, you know.
Talking about Luz or the
babysitter.
Yeah, she's younger. She's obviously younger.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like her light bulb's all the way lit up, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you saying. I think she's there to be taken care of, more or less.
By somebody that need the ball $60?
He probably sold her a good story, and then now they have a kid together, so she ain't going nowhere unless she finds something better. Unless she monkey branches something better. Because she already proved that she's capable of monkey branching. We don't know if she's with someone else before him, but in order to take away or get in the middle of a marriage to take away a husband from a wife, that's a form of monkey branching. And to be okay with that kind of separation, there's something wrong with that person. And I actually know someone, I know a situation is almost exactly like this. And it's interesting to say the least.
Last thing that I'll say, pro tip to the younger ladies out there. If you are going to get you an older guy, get you an older guy with money. Yeah. That's the whole point of being with an older guy. They're already established. Don't get you an older guy that ain't got no money. That's hustling backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
All right.
Give me my $60 back, or there'll be other, like cleaning the pool.
And you have no problem
grass.
paying the $60. It's $60.
I have a pool
right?
man.
You got a gig, right? You know.
Correct.
I have a pool
Mrs.
man.
Ortiz, you make sure that you put the rights of the children before you any hurt or rights that you have. I'm just blanket statement.
No, yeah.
No, you don't always know, because if you wouldn't do what you've done if you've always.
Right. It wouldn't be here.
I'm sorry that you don't get to see your granddaughter more than you can, but you kind of bought it when you didn't take the responsibility of taking her on. Ms. Beckett, stay cool, stay calm. Yes. Never forget the wrong that you did when you deal with her.
It's gonna come back to you.
Because that is what it is. And the fact that you're moving forward doesn't mean that you've made up for the past. $60 in favor of Mrs. Ortiz. It is so ordered.
All right. Parties may leave the courtroom.
He still want to talk and say something.
Luz says she took Judge Lynn's advice to allow Carlos to see his granddaughter. On the Sunday following their divorce court appearance, she invited him to join his granddaughter and her in the park only 5 minutes from his house. After 1.5 hours of waiting, she called him to find out if he was coming, and Carlos told her he'd seen them in the water park area but was not prepared to join them and went home. Luz says she never has denied Carlos the right to see his granddaughter, but Carlos has never made an effort to see her.
Let me hold on before you say something. I think I'm just throwing Carlos a bone here. I could be 100% wrong. I'm throwing him a bone. Throughout this whole case, he said he wanted to spend time with his granddaughter, I guess with his wife, or even possibly by himself. Now, if you say you want to spend time with your granddaughter, and then the grandmother, which is your ex-wife, is there more or less to chaperone, I'm like, because like I said, I've been in that kind of situation where I don't want to get into too much depth on it, but I want to spend time with this person that I know.
Okay.
Obviously it's a younger person, a child. It's family, you know, and that other person,
caretaker.
Yeah, we'll say caretaker.
All right.
Feels the need to insert themselves. into the time that I want to spend with that young person. I want to spend time with that young person because I want to have that back and forth rapport that they can feel comfortable with me. Not that there's any reason to not feel comfortable with me, but like that young person I feel is being babied, you know, is like a helicopter parent to an extent. And I think that this young person needs a masculine male figure that isn't his father to, you know, help him see, because I'm proximity wise, I am close to him, you know, in distance. And I think that's important for him to have both the female and the male dynamic in his life, not just the female.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of situations out there where we see that males who are raised by females, they tend to be a certain way in their lives.
Yep.
Because they didn't get that balance that I think that all kids should have, if at all possible. So that's where I'm going with that. I think that he probably saw that the ex-wife was there and he's like, no, I wanted to have time with her by myself or with me and my wife. I don't want you to be a third wheel. So sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, no, I understood that last part as saying that, okay, she tried to say, hey, there's a park right down the road. You can meet the kid at the park. I get what he wants, just like what you were saying. He wants that relationship where it's just him and the kid without Luce being there.
Mm-hmm.
That's understandable, right? You don't need the helicopter parent. Here's what, if you get one, maybe 2 times to be around to see that, you know, I'm not going to have the kid running on train tracks while they're in my presence. But then after that, it's all right, look, hey, that's my grandkid. I don't need you around when I've got my grandkid if I just want to take the grandkid to the arcade or whatnot. Right. Because having that extra presence there, even if they're out the way, you're still having to think about what they got going on or whatever, versus just being able to, hey, let's run into the arcade and have some fun and not have to look over and make sure that the other person's okay.
Yeah,
like
let's eat lots of ice cream and candy and soda, so the other person would be like, oh, they're eating too much. They're going to spoil his belly or her belly, you know? No, we're going to have a good time because I want to, you know.
And like critiquing you on the spot maybe. Right. Hey, make sure no, let us find this out organically, you know? I still think that, what's his name? Carlos?
I guess.
Or whatever his name is. I still think he's a usury piece of dirt type human being. I always talk about quality quadrants, low, average. I think most people fit in average, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And then high quality. That guy is definitely in the low quality quadrant.
Yeah, I'd be with you on that one, based off what we know. Because who knows? He could be in the mid, but we don't know. Based off what he showed in this show, we didn't see the first one. He is in the low, based off of what our evidence.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I has no chill. I'm who I are. I'm who I is. Taylor Susan, I play the part. Funkify, how you mesmerize. Black Austin Pies, man that I'm stupid. Then again, oh so clever. On my loony, pour that lever. Talk my shit, I'm talking hella flow, baby. You know.